Today on Monsters of Destruction, we present our last round of the indoor portion of our 2005 season. But before we get to the racing action, let's take a look at some of the memorable moments from MOD's indoor season. There's Dragon Slayer, your leader in both straight line and Chicago style racing. Amber Skywalker gets some major air in the Kid Rock truck. Bigfoot. Samson turns some great donuts. There's one of Bigfoot's 5 straight line wins. And Dragon Slayer doing some hot freestyle action. Our leaders in straight line drags after round 11, Dragon Slayer with 231 points, followed by Monster Patrol at 223 and Bigfoot at 202. In Chicago style racing, also Dragon Slayer, your leader with 220 points, followed by Bigfoot at 206, Monster Patrol at 191, Spider-Man 167, and Monster Moose checks in with 140. We are in St. Paul, Minnesota for round 12 of Monsters of Destruction action. There you get a look at Rick Swanson in the Line-X Obsession truck, getting ready to do battle in the first of 4 qualifiers here this evening. Rick Swanson has 1 straight line win to his credit so far this season as he packs down the dirt and comes to the line. He'll be facing Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. There's the green. Good jump for Rick Swanson. Up and over, we'll check the times. It's Rick Swanson winning by the narrowest of margins, 3.417 to Craig Christensen's 3.431. Pretty good run for Rick Swanson, a great way to start the day for the Line-X Obsession machine. There's the famous sirens on the Monster Patrol truck driven by Paul Schaefer, who will be taking on Samson with the biggest arms in the business here in the second qualifier. Qualifying action will set the brackets for our straight line and Chicago style racing later in the evening. There you get on board with Dan Patrick, over 20 years experience in that Samson truck. Setting to do battle against Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol. We're waiting for the green. There it is. Pretty even so far. Looks like Monster Patrol has a narrow advantage. He does. His time 3.165. Samson checks in with 3.338. Monster Patrol is just 8 points out of the season lead in straight line competition. Just 8 points behind Dragon Slayer with 231 points. So Paul Schaefer looking for a big showing tonight to try and take that lead in straight line drag standing. We move now to the third qualifier, which will be Bigfoot, driven by Dan Runty, taking on Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck. Bigfoot has been impressive so far in Monsters of Destruction indoor competition. Amber Skywalker has struggled a bit, not posting a win in either category yet. Clean start for both trucks. It's a very close race. We'll have to go to the computerized scoring and the times. Bigfoot gets across first with a time of 3.218. Amber Skywalker narrowly behind. Our fourth and last qualifier will be Spider-Man, driven by Paul Jensen. He gets a solo run because we have 7 trucks here tonight. But this is still a very important run because he's looking to set the fastest qualifying time and get the best starting positions in bracketing for straight line and Chicago style competition. Clean start, not much time in the air. That's going to be a fast run. 3.419 for Spider-Man, but probably not fast enough. Looking at the results from qualifying here in round 12, it's Monster Patrol with a time of 3.165, followed by Bigfoot, Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick truck, Samson, Line-X, Spider-Man, and Dragon Slayer. Here we get a look at Bigfoot. We go on board with Dan Runty as he comes out for the first heat of straight line drag competition. He'll be taking on Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Craig Christensen holds a narrow 8-point lead in the season standings. He'll have to face Bigfoot here in the first round because he qualified slowest of all the 7 trucks here tonight. A tall order matching up against Dan Runty and Bigfoot. There you get a look at the new paint scheme for Dragon Slayer, sporting the Lynch Hummer sponsorship out of St. Louis, Missouri. He's going to have a tall order tonight if he wants to beat Bigfoot. Bigfoot has won 5 straight line drag competitions in the first 11 rounds, including round 2, 4, 6, 9, and 11. Bigfoot has been a force to be reckoned with, and if he showed up in Glendale, Arizona, he'd probably be in the season lead. So both trucks come to the line now for the first heat in straight line drag competition. There you get another onboard view with Dan Runty. Dragon Slayer off the line first, gets less air. Let's see. It's Bigfoot with a time of 3.158. The Hemi power pays off. Dragon Slayer checks in at 3.255. A good run for Bigfoot. Let's take another look at the onboard view from Bigfoot. Boy, they really get slammed around in the cockpit of those trucks. Let's take a look at Dragon Slayer's run. He didn't get much air that time. A lot of times that's an advantage. But Bigfoot, he cleared the cars in the air, didn't bounce off the last car. That really helped him. More MOD action coming at you right after this. To you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. And by MonsterTruckStore.com, your online source for monster truck merchandise. And by Mickey Thompson, Performance Tires and Wheels. And Go Rhino Products, built to demand respect. Back with you, this is Wade Sherman from St. Paul, Minnesota. We're at the Xcel Energy Center. Heat number 2 getting ready to stage right now. It's Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck against Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man Hummer. Paul has 2 wins in straight line competition this season, including round 5 in Fresno and round 7 in Glendale, Arizona. Amber Skywalker yet to get on the board. A good start for her that time. She comes across the line in a hurry. Her time, 3.258. Spider-Man slower at 3.394. A great run for Amber Skywalker. Let's take a look at it from Amber's point of view. Nothing fancy there, just a good clean run. There's the end view. She got off the line a little bit better than Paul Jensen. Good run all in all for Amber Skywalker. Let's move on to heat number 3 now, where it'll be Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine going up against Dan Patrick in Samson. Samson has struggled a bit in straight line drags, but he's really excelled in Chicago style racing, which we'll see later in the show. Rick Swanson, on the other hand, has had a good run, winning one event in straight line competition. That was round 8 in Glendale, Arizona. There you go on board with Rick Swanson, studying those timing lights, waiting for the green, wants to get the whole shot against Dan Patrick. There's a great rivalry brewing between these two drivers. Good hole shot that time for Rick Swanson. He got off the line in a hurry. He won that race on the line. His time, 3.113. Samson's 3.304. Rick Swanson really wants to beat Dan Patrick. We had a lot of interaction between those two drivers in round 11. He's got to be pleased with that performance. He finally gets the better of Dan Patrick after 4 tries. Look at Rick charge off the line. He just won that one at the green. That was a good old-fashioned stomping on the green. Let's go inside the cockpit with Dan Patrick. An interesting view there inside the Samson machine. And look at Rick, an air-conditioned helmet. Can you believe it? This guy has always got to be comfortable. Let's move on to heat number 4. Monster Patrol gets the solo run by virtue of posting the top qualifying time of the evening. Again, just 8 points behind Dragon Slayer in the season standings in straight line drags. An excellent opportunity for him to move into the season lead before we head outdoors. Paul Schaefer is one of 3 Monsters of Destruction drivers to be running Hemi power, and their rumor is that Craig Christensen is building a Hemi as we prepare to go outdoors, which will make 4 Hemi powered machines. So all Schaefer has to do is post a time here in this heat, and he will advance into the semifinals. You see him packing down the dirt. He popped a wheelie off the line in the first qualifying heat, and that sometimes slows you down, so we'll see if he can get some bite on this run. Sirens are going for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. We're about to go green. As long as it doesn't break, he will move through to the semifinals. So Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol about to take the green here. Up and over he goes. A pretty good run for Paul Schaefer. We'll check the time, 3.353. Pretty competitive, and he will move on to the semifinals.
A lot of boat companies try to score points with
you for Monsters of Destruction round 12 from the St. Paul Xcel Energy Center. This heat will feature Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck going up against Bigfoot, driven by Dan Runte. We go on board with Dan as he tightens down those belts and gets ready for the green. There's Amber Skywalker still looking for her first win in Monsters of Destruction racing. She does have a freestyle win to her credit, but nothing in straight line or Chicago style. So they'll come to the line and we'll see who'll get the better of it. Amber Skywalker or Dan Runte. There's the green. Looks like Amber Skywalker got that one by a pretty comfortable margin. No, it was much closer. 3.236 for Amber Skywalker. Bigfoot not far behind, just 0.03 of a second off Amber's pace. Sometimes these camera angles can be a little deceiving, but Amber Skywalker wins by the narrowest of margins. It's a good thing that Monsters of Destruction has invested in that. Bigfoot got a little bit more air. Let's take a look at it from Amber's perspective. Her wheels are on the ground when they cross the timing line. Bigfoot's up in the air, did not trip the wire, so to speak. That's probably what made the difference for Amber Skywalker. One more look from onboard Bigfoot. Really focused on his lane, doesn't really check Amber. But a good run for Amber Skywalker, and she'll move on, defeating Bigfoot, who has 5 wins in straight line competition so far this season. We move on to semifinal heat number 2. Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol taking the arena floor to do battle against Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine. Paul Schaefer really excited about going outdoors in the second half of the Monsters of Destruction competition. Rick Swanson, ever the showman. You give him 5 minutes, he'll take 10. That's his style. Let's see what he can do here against Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine giving up almost 500 horsepower to Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol, which checks in with about 2,000 horsepower driven by the Hemi motor. Of course, every driver and every truck set up to a particular driver's taste. Linex is built more for Chicago-style racing and freestyle, which is Rick Swanson's specialty. He likes to be the showman. He likes to get big air. He likes to do donuts, this sort of thing. Paul Schaefer more into power and speed, which is why he set up with the Hemi and the longer wheelbase. So we'll bring him to the line. Monster Patrol, Paul Schaefer, Rick Swanson, Linex Obsession as we await the green in semi number 2. A little psychology perhaps on the part of Rick Swanson. Backs off the line. Gives Paul Schaefer something to think about there. Rick knows his sponsors are in the house. He may be just going for a little in-camera focus time for Linex and the good folks that sponsor this truck. There you get a good look at Rick as he prepares to do battle against Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol machine. There's the green. A good run for Monster Patrol. I think he got that one with a time of 3.200. Rick Swanson a hair slow at 3.216. We'll take another look and see if we can figure out where Monster Patrol got the advantage in this heat. Linex actually got the jump off the line, but that horsepower disadvantage really cost him there. Monster Patrol just won this one with brute horsepower. The extra 500 horses under the hood helped him there as he was able to overcome the slow start and advance to victory here in straight line drag competition. So the stage is set for the straight line final. It'll be Monster Patrol driven by Paul Schaefer against Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck. Both of these trucks built out of the same shop. They're virtually identical, so this will come down to reaction time and driver skill. Should be an exciting match, and it's really an opportunity for Amber Skywalker to establish herself as a racer. She's taken some criticism. Some people say that, maybe because she's a woman, she shouldn't be out there, but she's given it her all, and she's made it to the finals here tonight. A chance to make a real statement in Monsters of Destruction straight line competition. Paul Schaefer, by virtue of being the fast qualifier, gets lane choice. So everything going Paul Schaefer's way. The point season standings hang in the balance. Dragon Slayer has gone out early, so if Paul Schaefer can win this heat, he will take a 2-point advantage in the overall season standings in straight line drags competition. So Schaefer stages first as Amber Skywalker comes up to the line. The safety officials were clear, and we're about to go green in the straight line drag final here in round 12 from the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. The trucks are staged. This one is for all the marbles in straight line drag competition. There's the green. Very close race, too close to call. The time, 3.203 for Amber Skywalker in the number 29 Kevin Harvick truck. She's done it. She's won her first racing competition in Monsters of Destruction action. A great run for Amber Skywalker. She's got to be pleased with that performance. Let's take another look and see if we can determine where she won it. Got a good jump off the line. Clean landing. Here we look at Amber one more time. Getting over all 5 cars in the air, that really helped her that time. Let's see, Monster Patrol drifted a bit to the right on the start. He got a little too much grip, and that's what cost him. So, your results in Monsters of Destruction Round 12 Straight Line Drags. It's Amber Skywalker posting her first win, followed by Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol, Rick Swanson in the Line X Obsession Machine. So Paul Schaefer misses an opportunity to take over the season lead, 1 point behind Dragon Slayer, followed by Bigfoot. Let's send it down to Raquel Gardner on the floor, standing by with Amber Skywalker.
You're racing so awesome this week, I gotta tell you. You are shaming all these men.
Oh, I'm not shaming them. They've shamed me enough.
Is she shaming these men?
Thank you, guys.
So what are you doing different tonight than you normally do that's giving you the upper hand?
Well, the AMSOIL Chevy truck's been running really good. The motor's been really great. The motor's got the new oil in it. It's been doing really, really good with it. But had some transmission problems last night, and I got a new transmission in it today that seems to be pulling really hard, so I'm really happy with it.
Now, are you installing the transmission?
Actually, I didn't today. I was running the valves on my motor, but I helped a little bit.
Do you know how to do all that stuff?
Yeah, of course I do. You have to.
She's like every man's dream. She's beautiful, and she can put a transmission in a truck.
We'll be back with Chicago-style action after this. Come on. Wade Sherman back with you. This is Monsters of Destruction Round 12, Heat number 1 of Chicago-style competition. Our first heat features Dan Runte and Bigfoot going up against Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Christensen has dominated Chicago-style racing, winning 5 of the 11 rounds thus far. There's the green flag as we get things started. Power sliding around the first turn is Craig Christensen, but he takes that turn awfully wide. That may cost him. Let's see. Looks like Bigfoot has the advantage. Coming to the line, it's Bigfoot. His time, 17.045. Dragon Slayer, 18.084. Another blow to Dragon Slayer. Bigfoot has an opportunity to gain in the season standings. Dan was shaking his head there inside the Bigfoot. He thinks he may have gotten away with one there. A sigh of relief on the part of Dan Runte and Bigfoot. A golden opportunity to take over the season lead against Dragon Slayer. We'll get a look at it from Craig Christensen's isolated view. Takes that first turn awfully wide. Has to come way back in to attack those blue cars. Kicks it out wide again. We've had some snow recently in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. This dirt is really tacky. Craig's specialty, the power slide around the pole, but he can't really get that traction he needs, and that cost him here. Now we look at Bigfoot's run. A much cleaner turn around the first pole for Dan Runte. Nothing spectacular, just clean driving by Dan Runte and Bigfoot. That's what won this heat for him. A solid run for Bigfoot. Let's go on board with Dan now. Steering those front wheels with the left hand, using the rocker switch on the right to control the rear. Takes a look now over at his competitor to see where he is on the track. Realizes he's got a good advantage here, just has to bring it home. And he does, victorious. Dan Runte and Bigfoot takes that round. We move on to heat number 2. It's going to be Paul Jensen and Spider-Man against our straight line winner, Amber Skywalker, in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck. Neither driver has a win thus far in MOD Chicago-style racing. The advantage you would think would go to Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. The Hummer, more compact, the shorter wheelbase, made for turning, where Amber's got the outdoor machine with the Hemi power built for speed. We'll see how that plays out here in heat number 2 of Chicago-style racing from the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. At this point, the safety officials are checking the remote kill switches. All of these trucks are equipped with those remote kill switches in case they get out of control and head toward the crowd. The engines can be cut off from upstairs by the Monsters of Destruction safety officials. Amber Skywalker, looking to add to her win already in straight line drag competition, has her work cut out for her against Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. Trucks are staged. The officials clear the track as you get a look at our crowd here at St. Paul, Minnesota. One of the better crowds we've had so far in MOD action. There's the green. Looks like Amber will reach the turning pole first, but Paul Jensen makes a better turn. Oh, he almost missed the blue cars there, but his front 2 tires both hit, so he's okay. As Amber is having trouble, there's some kind of mechanical problem as Paul Jensen almost puts an entire lap on Amber Skywalker. His time, 15.811. Amber's 22 seconds. A disappointing performance for Amber Skywalker in the Kevin Harvick number 29 Kid Rock truck. There you see a good start for Amber. Gets to the turning pole pretty even with Paul Jensen. Paul lines up the blue cars and drifts off to the right, but he did hit both front tires on the blue cars. No penalty. Amber had trouble going over those yellow cars, and Jensen almost lapped her. Something mechanically wrong with that Kevin Harvick machine. Nice turns, kicking those rear wheels around the pole. Doesn't set up on the blue cars all that well, but he gets over them clean. Attacks the yellow cars. A good clean jump there for Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. A quick time of 15.8 seconds. A nice run for Paul. We'll move on to heat number 3 of Chicago Style Racing. Coming out on the track first, it's Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine. That's a Ford. Also carrying signage for AmeriGas, one of the sponsors of tonight's event. Rick Swanson staging first. He'll do battle against his rival. I don't know who's drawing the matchups. It's just the luck of the draw, but Rick gets one more chance against Dan Patrick in Samson. Snapping on the net collar. These guys take a lot of abuse inside those monster trucks. Net collar makes things a little bit more comfortable. You know Rick, he always wants to be comfortable in there. There's Dan Patrick in the Samson machine. Samson has competed in 3 MOD events. He struggled in the first one, but has come on strong to win the last 2 Chicago Style rounds. Dan Patrick looking to keep it going against Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine. Both trucks are at the line. There's the green. Smoke bellows from the Samson machine. Nice turn for Rick Swanson there. Doesn't hit the car straight on. That may cost him. Let's see. Samson takes it way wide. He may have missed him altogether. We'll have to see. Patrick got across the line first, but he incurs a 2-second penalty. The front 2 tires must hit the cars. He did not hit the cars clean, handing the victory to Rick Swanson in the Linex Obsession machine. Let's take another look at that run and see if we can pick up where the penalty took place. Disappointing for Dan Patrick, to say the least. So he'll head back to the pits, disappointed he can't keep his streak of 2 consecutive wins going, but he'll get ready for freestyle coming up later in tonight's show. We'll get a look at it from Dan Patrick's angle. Gets through the first turn okay, takes it a little bit wide. No problems there, going over the yellow cars. Nice turn. Bobbles a little bit, kicks the rear end around. That's where he missed the front 2 wheels on the line of blue cars. That cost him 2 seconds. He was actually faster than Rick Swanson, but the penalty cost him the race that time. Stay tuned for more Chicago Style action here in round 12 of Monsters of Destruction action on the Outdoor Channel. Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction action here on the Outdoor Channel. I'm Wade Sherman. This is heat number 4 of Chicago Style Racing. A solo run for our top qualifier, Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. Good start for Paul. Again, this truck really not set up for the indoor arenas, but top qualifier paying off right here for him. He's going to get at least semifinal points if he can keep it rolling. Attacks the blue cars, gets over him clean, brings it home. His time, 18.306. Not the fastest run, but qualifying came into play here. Very important. Paul can't do any worse than 4th place here tonight in Chicago Style action. Paul acknowledges the crowd here at the St. Paul Xcel Energy Center, home of the Minnesota Wild. He's got that siren going, waving to the fans. He'll go back to the pits and get ready for semifinal action. Taking the track now in semifinal number 1, it'll be Paul Jensen and Spider-Man going up against Dan Runte in Bigfoot. Dan has been impressive so far this season. He has 4 Chicago Style wins, round 1 and 2 in Bakersfield and rounds 3 and 5 in Fresno. Paul Jensen yet to score a victory in Chicago Style action so far this season, but he does have a freestyle win. Bigfoot is the faster qualifier in this round. He'll choose to attack the blue cars. Let's see if that strategy pays off for Dan Runte in Bigfoot. So the trucks will refire now after demonstrating that their kill switches are working to the safety officials. Safety a big issue, of course. We want to make sure that our fans have a good time. As you get an onboard look with Dan Runte, he'll cinch those belts. Get ready to go green here in Chicago-style action. Safety officials are clearing the track. There's the green, a good jump for Bigfoot. Spider-Man gets around the turn clean. Bigfoot may have an advantage here. Nice turn there, kicks those front wheels up off the ground as he power slides. Not sure about Spider-Man there. He got a little off kilter, but he gets across in pretty good time. 15.484, the fastest run of the night in Chicago-style action. Bigfoot a little wheelie off the start. A lot of power under the hood of that Bigfoot. Dan Runte bobbles a little bit around the first turn. Takes that second turn way too wide. That cost him about a second right there, and that was really the difference in the race. Went a little too wide around that second turn. Let's take a look at Paul Jensen's run. Pretty clean right there. If you'll notice, he's kicking in that rear steer before he hits the ground. That'll help him slide through those turns. Gave him the advantage that time against Dan Runte and Bigfoot. A nice run for Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. It's time for semifinal heat number 2 in Chicago-style racing. The matchup will be Rick Swanson in the Linux Obsession against Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. Taking a look at the season standings, it's Dragon Slayer number 1, Bigfoot number 2 in Chicago-style racing. Both of them have been eliminated, so once again, the door is wide open for Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He failed to convert in straight line drag racing. Let's see what he can do here in Chicago style. There you get an interesting look at Rick Swanson inside the cockpit of that Linux Obsession machine. Putting on that net collar. Look at that look on his face. He is determined. He is serious. He's all business tonight against Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. A very determined Rick Swanson. Let's see what he does here against Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. Swanson will bring that Linux Obsession forward to the line. The trucks are staged. The track is clear. We're about to go green in semi number 2. Ooh, Paul Schaefer has some trouble. That may be a penalty. We'll have to see. He did not get over those blue cars clean at all. Rick Swanson charging on here. Something wrong with Monster Patrol maybe. He's off kilter on all those jumps, takes that turn extremely wide. Rick Swanson across the line in a very impressive time of 17.214 seconds. Monster Patrol 19.152. Again, Paul Schaefer fails to take advantage of a golden opportunity. Drifts to the right over those first 2 cars. Almost touches the wall, does Paul Schaefer. Struggles in the turn. By then, Rick Swanson's got him beat. All he's got to do is take his time, get around that last turn, and bring it home. He's got almost an entire straightaway advantage on Paul Schaefer, who again almost touches the wall on the last turn. Swanson drifts a little bit to the right, kicks it around, hits the blue cars clean. By this time, he knows he's got this race won. He'll face Spider-Man in the Chicago-style final right after this.
Hey, Billy. Where are your zip zaps? Right here, guys.
New Zip Zaps Micro RC Monster trucks have arrived at Radio Shack with monster 4-wheel drive action, front spring suspension, and working lights. You can even modify them with different wheels and motors. Some assembly required, batteries sold separately.
Billy! Gotta go.
Only at Radio Shack.
Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. I'm Wade Sherman, and it's time for the Chicago-style final. It's Rick Swanson in the Linux Obsession machine against Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man Hummer. One thing's for sure, we will have a first-time winner in Chicago-style racing in MOD competition. Neither driver has won in Chicago-style racing. They both come a long way. Paul Jensen from Salt Lake City, Rick Swanson from Menifee, California. Neither one of them wants to go home disappointed. We'll see who can get it done here tonight in the Chicago-style final. Rick Swanson in the Linux, Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. Little gamesmanship going on right here. Neither driver wants to bring his truck up to the line. We'll see who stages first. Sometimes psychology plays a big part in these races. Rick Swanson has a lot more experience than Paul Jensen, so let's see if he can get under Paul's skin here. Paul brings that Spider-Man Hummer to the line. Rick is staged. We're about to go green in Chicago-style final racing action on Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. Jensen gets a good start, kicks those rear wheels around, gets around the first turning pole clean. Big air for Swanson. He drifts to the right so he can take that turn and hug the pole. Spider-Man with the advantage here. He's going to bring it home first. A good run for Paul Jensen and Spider-Man, winning by half a second. His time, 15.065 compared to 15.543 for Linex. A great run for Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man machine. Really power slides around that first turning pole. Clean around the second. Posts a great time here, 15 seconds flat. So we get a look at the long view. Smoke pouring from the Spider-Man machine. Rick takes his turn a little bit wide, but he drifts it out to the right so he can have a bigger turning radius. Bobbled that turn just a little bit, opening the door for Paul Jensen, who comes roaring through to win Chicago-style racing. We go on board with Rick Swanson. Really wrestling the steering wheel there. 1,500 horsepower, hard to control on this tight turning course in an indoor arena. Taking a lot of punishment there. So here are your results for round 12 of Chicago-style action. It's Spider-Man with his first win of the season, followed by Rick Swanson in the Linex, Bigfoot, Monster Patrol, Samson, and Dragon Slayer. The season standings look like this. It's Dragon Slayer 232, Bigfoot 226, Monster Patrol 209, followed by Spider-Man and Monster Moose. And now down to Raquel Gardner, standing by with Paul Jensen.
Last night, were you having some problems a little bit?
Yeah, last night I was having a hard time. This dirt's really wet and it likes to grab your tires. We made a few adjustments on the motor, didn't do very good in straight line drag, so we had to pick up the pace in Chicago style. Worked out good.
Yeah, you're really an aggressive driver, I know that. And what makes you an aggressive driver?
People like Rick, I hate to lose to him.
Paul and all the Monsters of Destruction will be back with freestyle competition after this.
Catch Speed Zone, brought to you by Optima Batteries, every Saturday at 5 p.m.
If you're like us, you'll never want to waste your time on a treadmill again. This free DVD shows you how Bowflex's Tread Climber lets you burn calories in half the time it takes on other equipment. Call for yours right now. You need to see this free DVD. Tread Climber lets me get an amazingly effective cardio workout in 30 minutes. It's quick, it's easy, and it makes me feel great. And it's compact enough to fit anywhere in my home. Tread Climber combines the walking action of a treadmill with the stepping movement of an elliptical. It's really easy to do. It feels sort of like walking in sand. Plus, it's low impact, which keeps my knees feeling great. I know I've got to take care of myself now if I want to look younger and feel younger. Tread Climber simply produces results. Call right now for your free DVD. It shows you why the Bowflex Tread Climber burns calories and works your heart faster and easier than any other cardio product on the market today.
Every week, the Outdoor Channel brings you Monday Night Fishing, sponsored by Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Check out the current Monday Night Fishing lineup. The world-class anglers you'll see on Monday Night Fishing will take you around the world to bring you their most exciting catches and show you the tips and tricks that will have you fishing like the pros. It's 4 hours of freshwater and saltwater action you won't want to miss. Don't miss Cabela's Monday Night Fishing every Monday night from 8 to midnight.
Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. It's time for freestyle competition here in round 12 at the Excel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Monster Patrol, driven by Paul Schaefer, up first. He'll have 90 seconds to win the approval of this St. Paul, Minnesota crowd. Sirens are going. They've cut away some dirt from in front of these cars, try and get these trucks to go more vertical. So far, nothing really impressive from Paul Schaefer, but he's lining up these blue cars, stands on the gas, gets some air there. He's going to have to do better than that to get these fans going. Again, this is very tight quarters for Paul Schaefer. He's going to do much better when we go outside. He takes out the turning pole, attacks the center tabletop where we've added 2 cars and a van. Got some air there as he swings it around to attack the blue cars, picks up some speed, but then hits the brakes, stands on the gas, gets a little wheelie going there. A nice move for Paul Schaefer there. He's about halfway through his run here in the first freestyle event of the evening. Wow, took the van and the cars there, drifted to the right, a good move there. Good hang time on that jump, not real high, but he got some distance. Again, he attacks the center van, up and over he goes, slams the rear wheels down. Coming to the end of a pretty good run here, it's Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He throws it in reverse. Let's see what he's going to do. He's got a little bit of time left. Maybe he's going to try the center one more time over the van and the tabletop. Line him up. There you get the long view. Mashes the gas. Up and over he goes. Good distance. Not a lot of air. A little wheelie on the landing. See, if he was outside, he could have continued that wheelie by mashing the gas and really carried it for some distance. But close quarters here cut that wheelie short. Sirens going for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. He acknowledges the Xcel Energy crowd, Xcel Energy Center crowd here in St. Paul. A decent run for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol in the first freestyle event of the evening. All in all, not too bad for Paul Schaefer. We'll take another look at some of the better jumps of this run by Monster Patrol. Here you see really kicking to the right. He takes out the van with the left rear wheel. Good air, good distance, an interesting move to say the least. There he attacks the center tabletop, crushes the van, slams those rear wheels down. One more time over the center jump, some decent air. This is where he gets into the wheelie, kicks those rear wheels up. It's a little bit of a wheelie going. Here comes Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. He is a man possessed. He's going after it, stands it on the tailgate. He's always been a crowd favorite. Freestyle is one of his specialties. He really enjoys freestyle. Took out a wall or two in his day. Big air that time for Paul Jensen. Nice move, but he may have suffered some damage to that machine. He's slowing down. That's it, something broke. He got some major air that time, brought down some rain, but he's going to cut that run short, well short of the allotted 90 seconds, causing irreparable damage to the Spider-Man machine. Now the showman, Rick Swanson, in the Line-X Obsession truck. If he could, he'd still be going. Remember, in round 11, he took about 5 minutes. He wasn't ready to give it up. Let's see what he does here tonight. Attacks the blue cars, gets a little bit of a tailgate stand going, at least he tries. There you get the onboard view as he decides to line up his next move. Mashes the gas, gets a little bit of air. Nothing spectacular there. He'll swing it around, maybe line up the center. Nice power slide there. He might have been trying to get a donut, but this dirt very sticky due to the recent snow and rain we've had. Nice jump there. About 45 seconds left for Rick Swanson in the Line-X Obsession. What's he gonna do? He's going for the center. Big air that time for Rick Swanson. The wheelie on the landing. Running out of real estate there. Off into the cement he goes. Another attempt at a donut, but the dirt just too tacky. He can't get it going, so he attacks the van. Nice air, slams the wheels. Nice wheelie there. Swanson doing a pretty good job here in freestyle competition. Throws it in reverse, swings it around. 20 seconds or so left in this run for Rick Swanson. Lining up his next move. I think he's going to go over the van one more time. Over the center tabletop. Picks up some speed. Big air that time. Rick Swanson, a little wheelie on the landing. Power slide. Maybe he has time for one more attack. Again, an attempt at a donut. Let's see, he's almost got it. Sort of. This dirt, again, very tacky due to the recent snows and moisture. Couldn't quite get the donut going the way he likes to. Almost out of time here. Time really doesn't mean anything to Rick Swanson. He'll go until this thing catches on fire if we let him. Good air that time. Swanson, not bad. All in all, a good run for Rick Swanson in the Linux Obsession freestyle event. He'll crawl out and wave to the fans here at the Xcel Energy Center. Pretty good response. We'll be back with more freestyle competition right after this.
MonsterTruckStore.com, your online source for monster.
Construction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. And by MonsterTruckStore.com, your online source for monster truck merchandise. And by Mickey Thompson Performance Tires and Wheels. And Go Rhino Products, built to demand respect. Wade Sherman back with you for more freestyle action here in round 12 of Monsters of Destruction competition from the Xcel Energy Center. Now competing, Dan Patrick in Samson. We'll have 90 seconds to win the approval of this Xcel Energy Center crowd. He's had some pretty good runs in freestyle so far this season. A nice jump there. He'll swing it around. Thought about doing a donut, but again, the traction an issue here. Bring it down to the other end of the arena where he'll probably line up the tabletop, see how much air he can get. Again, Samson, the biggest arms in the business, one of the first 3D trucks, up and over the van he goes. We'll have to get a better run at it to get some more air if he wants to win here in freestyle. Setting up again, mashes the gas. That van is getting flatter than a pancake. Not a lot of big air, but some distance there for Dan. Up and over the blue cars. Has to hit the brakes pretty hard as he's running out of real estate here in this indoor arena. About halfway through the run now is Dan Patrick. A little timid going over that tabletop jump. Not the best air we've seen. Giving a shot at a donut. Not quite there for Dan tonight. See if he attacks the center jump with any kind of speed. That's the best air we've seen. Good air that time for Dan Patrick and Samson. Few seconds remaining here in this freestyle run. One more time over the van. Slams those front wheels down. Got time for one or two more moves. Let's see what he has. Not messing around. He's going for the center. Attacks it diagonally. That'll do it for Dan Patrick and Samson. Not the most impressive freestyle run we've seen here tonight, but not bad either. So Dan is done for the night. He'll park the Samson machine and come back to run another day. But before we go to our next event, let's take a look back at some of Dan's greatest hits here tonight. Nice jump there, but the rear wheels get hung up on the van. Get some good extension. The front wheels about 10 feet off the ground there. Just not setting up with enough speed. Maybe a little cautious, not wanting to run off the end of the arena. Here comes Bigfoot, Dan Runte, celebrating 30 years in the business. It's Bigfoot. This should be impressive, ladies and gentlemen. Dan always likes to have fun in freestyle. He's really got nothing to lose. Always puts on a good show, but it's going to be challenging for him now. Sometimes drawing as late as he did, those cars are pretty flat, so he's going to have to do something to get some air because the cars are flattened. They're a little tough to jump at this point. Stands it on the rear wheels there. He'll swing it around, take another pass. A little timid in the approach. A little bit of a wheelie over the yellow cars, not bad. Let's see what he does here. 60 seconds or so remaining in the run. Tries to get it. A little bit of a sky wheelie there. Dances those rear wheels over the cars. A nice move there for Dan and Bigfoot. Attacks the tabletop. Good hang time that time. A lot of distance. Not the highest jump we've seen, but pretty good on the distance. 45 seconds or so remaining.
One more time.
Pretty good jump there for Bigfoot. 30 seconds or so on the clock. He's going to have to do better than what he's done so far if he wants to win here tonight. Lines up the tabletop. Big air that time. Nice jump for Bigfoot. Scoring some points with the fans here in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's got time for one or two more moves. Now that's it. He's going to park it. Dan Runte is done. Let's take a look back at some of his better moves here in freestyle round 12 competition. Decent air right there. Front wheels way off the ground as he slams the front down. Mashes the gas. Sky wheelie right there, a nice move, probably his best move of the night. So one truck remaining in freestyle. It's Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer. He's coming out of the gate strong, standing that thing straight up and down. Setting up those yellow cars. Good extension that time, going almost the entire length of the arena. Slams it around, he'll make another run. Charges the center jump. Gathers it up, stomps the gas. Almost 90 degrees there for Craig Christensen. He's putting on a pretty good show so far. Very aggressive here in this freestyle run, always on the gas, way up in the air that time. He brought down some rain with that one. Oh, look out, he's gonna hit the building, narrowly misses those columns. This guy's out of control. Definitely the madman of freestyle here tonight. Slams those front wheels down, gets a little wheelie going. Plenty of time left in this run for Craig, who's very, very aggressive here tonight in freestyle competition. Lining up the tabletop. Charges way up high, drifts off to the right a little bit, comes down on the right side of the truck. Slams it around, he'll make another run. Again, very aggressive on the gas. Whoa, look at that, a tailgate stand. He did some damage that time. Nice move by Craig Christensen, who is leaving nothing on the table. He's going for it here in St. Paul. Charges the tabletop, up and over he goes, slams it down. He's got a little bit of time left on this run. Let's see if he's got anything left. Trying to get a donut going. He's throwing dirt all over the place. There's some fans in the front rows there that aren't happy with that. They got a little mud shower, but an impressive run for Craig Christensen and the Dragon Slayer as the crowd shows their approval here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Craig is out of the vehicle, acknowledging the crowd. He knows he won this one. I don't think there's any question. Your winner, Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer. We'll be back next week with a recap of the indoor season for Monsters of Destruction. Until then, remember, this is Wade Sherman saying there are men, there are machines, and then there are monsters of destruction.